Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about being influenced by social media. Join us as we share things we've bought, ways we've changed, and how we try to handle all the products and opinions coming our way each time we go online. Let's get started. Listeners, today we are talking about how we've been influenced. And if you are alive and on any kind of social media, I promise you, you have been influenced, and this episode will make you laugh. It applies to you. It might convict you a little bit. It might shed some light on why you're being influenced. But anyways, Mindy, this topic came to us from you, and why don't you give us the backstory and how this came about?
Oh, absolutely. So I was talking with a friend and I noticed she was wearing some really cute shoes. And I said, "Oh, I love your shoes. Those are so cute." And she said, "Oh my goodness, I was influenced. I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "What? Like, where's this going?" And she said, "I actually got these shoes from Walmart. There's this influencer that I follow, and she was showing us like some cheap hacks. And so these actually came from Walmart." She said, "I was influenced." And I was like, that is such a great tagline. And so absolutely. Yeah. Anytime you talk to any three of us in real life, like we're listening for topic ideas. And this came from my friend who apologized for being influenced to buy shoes from Walmart.
Well, and I think that's what stuck with you was the fact that she was kind of ashamed of having been influenced.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I thought she was adorable too. Literally, she's always dressed cute. And I just thought it was funny. Right.
So I guess one of the first things is just that the fact that influencer is even a job now. Mm-hmm. Like I saw this reel, and I don't know if my iPhone was listening to me or what, but while I was preparing for this episode, and I don't follow this person, I couldn't find him again if I tried, but it was like a suggested for you. And I clicked on it, and she had like this music going, and then 12 pictures that flashed across, like how much money she made in January, February, March of like 2023. The whole total, you guys, for the whole year was $432,000.
What?
And I think she did not even have 1 million followers. I think she had like 300,000. I thought, oh my goodness, she made $432,000. And I looked at her content, and I don't, maybe she's doing like a lot of affiliate links, because it was a lot of like really pretty pictures, but I felt like it was a lot of pictures of decorating your home for like holidays maybe, and like maybe foods and stuff like that. So it wasn't even stuff that I felt like I would necessarily use on a daily basis, or like special occasion type account. Like it was your birthday party, or it wasn't just like your everyday life. So how much are people making that they're just selling an outfit a day or whatever? Like influencing is a real job, you guys.
That's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
Anytime I think about it though, like I think about those numbers, Marie, and I'm like, gosh, I should do that. And then I'm like, it wears me out. It would wear me out
exhausting
to be that available to people. And so I've immediately tapped myself out of that job.
Well, and I know it's harder than it looks. Like we had one of your friends on before, Mindy, an influencer. And there's actually a lot that goes into the behind the scenes, and a lot that goes on that you don't see. It's just like any job. It kind of looks easy, but when you really knew what it took, you're like, oh, they kind of did earn that.
Yeah, I think it could be 24/7 if you weren't careful. Yeah.
Right.
Well, back to something you said, that the woman almost seemed embarrassed that she was influenced. I wonder if we really want to easily admit that we are influenced. Like I think I think we think of ourselves as not easily influenced. Do you think that way?
Oh yeah, we don't want to be swayed.
Nobody's going to tell me what to do.
No, I'm not buying that.
I'm my own woman. I think
that's right.
My own thoughts.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, listeners, we're all open to being influenced, good or bad. So that's definitely like something we're admitting today. Like maybe some of us are more easily swayed than others, but we all can be influenced.
Right. Oh yeah, Julie is wearing her
shirt that she was
influenced to purchase.
Yeah. Right. So influencers have become influential voices in today's digital age with the power to sway trends and purchasing decisions. When you think about that, that's a big power. Like they can sway a trend and a purchasing decision. That's why companies are paying them big bucks for them to act like they like this product or show you how to use this product or whatever, because they want to get you to buy it.
Right.
Yeah, and they can reach audiences that they could never hope to reach before. I mean, think about how efficient it is as opposed to just advertising on a billboard or on a TV commercial. Like how many more people they're reaching. And back to when you said that she didn't have many followers, that woman, I even saw something called micro influencer, that people that had less followers, their followers felt like that maybe they were more trustworthy and were even more effective.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we're all looking for genuine sincerity, like a real life. And the fact that these are people, okay, so we are being influenced, but also we have chosen who we're being influenced by. So by choosing the people that we watch or listen to, that's a real life example for us. Like these people are totally approachable by us. Like we could reach out and message any of these people that we follow and they would get back to you. I mean, that is targeted marketing.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people don't trust the big brands anymore. But it's funny because I say I trust this woman who's advertising they're paying her to say she likes this product. Like, I think when we don't realize that we're being influenced, that's actually why it works so well. You know,
right.
We think we're not. We think we're making this informed decision all on our own. But
okay, well, let's talk about social media. What aspects about social media enables it to be so influential? I think one of the biggest things for me is that I don't watch any TV with commercials. I might watch something on Netflix or Prime, but I never turn on regular TV. So if you are trying to market to me, I mean, not that anyone is, but you know what I'm saying, someone like me, I'm never going to see your commercial, but I will see it if it's something in my Instagram feed or on Facebook. So I think just the fact that, like what you said, Julie, its ability to be so influential is that it's coming to you. It's coming to where you are.
And it's targeted to things that you're talking about. I mean, we've all joked that our phones will, we'll have pop-up ads from different things that we have in this conversation. And so that's part of it. Our smartphones are listening, but also then the influencers that we're following, these are real life examples, like they're not just sharing about this facial lotion that they use. You're watching them work out. You're watching them, go to the store, maybe like they're doing live reels, like they have let you into their real life. So these people seem very real, genuine, sincere, those things that are very important to us, but also they're saying also midlife, and this is the face lotion that I use. And sure, I'm going to put #ad at the beginning of the ad, but you're more likely to go buy that because this is a real life example. You kind of feel like maybe you've become friends, like you've gotten to know this person.
Yeah. Yeah. We want a trusted voice. Like you said, we get to kind of choose who we're going to be influenced by. So we choose people that are likable and maybe people that we think are like us. I'm going to buy makeup from a 50-year-old woman as opposed to a 20-year-old,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's give some examples of how we've been influenced. Because at first I thought, I don't really think I've bought that many things based on things that I've seen. But then I really got to thinking about it. Here's probably my most recent example. I like what you said, Mindy, is we feel like we can contact the people. So I've been looking at light fixtures, and one of the light fixtures was for my living room. And I was throwing out different ones to Abigail, and she was telling me yay or nay. And then I saw one on Instagram. It was an account that I follow called Everyday Mamas. I just love their home tours. Someone on that account had posted their living room. And I really liked the light fixture, but it was kind of plain. It was simple, black. And I thought, Abigail probably wouldn't say that one's good. So I didn't send it to her. Then when I opened up my Instagram later, she had sent it to me and she goes, I wouldn't normally say I like this light fixture, but I really like it here. You should think about it. And I thought, oh, I already saw it. So that means we both like it. So I thought, well, how am I going to find this? So I did what you said, Mindy. I just messaged that account and said, actually, I don't even think I private messaged. I think I just put in the comments, can you tell me where you got this? And so they told me. And then I knew I could find one similar just based on what it looked like, but I wanted to know exactly where they got theirs. I didn't want to mess it up. And so it was just interesting. And I went ahead, like I saw that they had a ceiling medallion. They had paired it with a ceiling medallion. And I thought, okay, look at that really elevated the way that looked. I'm going to do that too. I wouldn't have thought about doing that until I saw that she had done that. So the whole experience was completely based on seeing something that I saw on Instagram and then basically copying it.
Right.
Yeah, I follow a lot of accounts that are just people's homes, and a lot of them are in New England. Like that's in their name, like Molly in Maine, or New England Living, or Cape Cod Life, or whatever. And that's just how I kind of develop my decorating scheme, is because I like that, and it's not something I see a lot of here. You know, I'm not gonna go to a lot of stores and see that here or in Southern Living or whatever. So I go there and I find it. And these probably aren't even influencers, really. Like, they're not selling products, but they're selling their design and their love for certain things, you know. So that's my favorite way. And I like to see it in a real house.
Yes.
You know.
In the past few years, I have been greatly influenced by the Chris Loves Julia Instagram account.
Yeah.
And in good ways. I am not going to be apologetic about it, because I would not have been able to see these images of rugs and curtains for my home had it not been for their Instagram account. And so when we moved in our house, you know, I'm looking for rugs, I'm looking for content, and I'm shopping, and I have no idea what I want. Well, I start following them, and they have a rug line. Well, it just so happens that it's pretty affordable. Also, they sell it on Amazon. Also, Amazon runs specials. So on their Instagram page, like, they're always showing if there's a special on one of their rug lines. And then they have all these pictures of how, you know, it looks in different spaces. Well, I have 3 of their rugs downstairs currently on my main level. And then Julia shared these Amazon curtains that is they're like a go-to Amazon curtain for homes. And I see how they look, and they're lined and they're thick. And so, of course, these are the ones that I bought. And I did a whole wall. I have a huge wall of windows, and I lined them with these curtains. Well, I just had some neighbors over, and one of my neighbors just spent a fortune having people come do curtains. And he was in love with my wall of curtains. Well, it was so cheap to do it. I literally paid my son Grant to hang the whole line of the curtain rod. And also the curtain rod came from Chris Loves Julia. And then the curtains came from, you know, their recommendation off Amazon. And my friend could not believe that I had done this myself. And I'm like, I really didn't do it myself, but I kind of did it myself. I would have never known, you know, had it not been for them.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah, I'm thinking of all the things, like you can be influenced by paint color. You know, a lot of times when I'm thinking about doing something in my house, I will then find rooms that I already like online, and then I'll find out what paint color that is. And that if I don't use that exact one, it'll be a springboard to something else I later find. But I'm always kind of looking for, well, where's my starting point? And chances are it's going to be something like an account I follow on Instagram or something like that.
That's how I did my whole dining room. Paint color, what's on the walls, how I chose to keep the table I kept in there. Like, it was all from an inspiration on Instagram. One thing account I really like to follow, there's several, but Chrissy Marie blog. Do you follow that one? She shares a lot of gadgets and Amazon must-haves. Like, she has home design and clothing, but then usually monthly it'll be like favorite Amazon finds. So I routinely look there, and like that's where I found my label maker. She has these little mini caster wheels that you put on heavy appliances, like your KitchenAid mixer, so you don't, you know, so it just kind of rolls around. She covers everything from like bed linens to the best faux flowers and faux trees to rugs, and I don't know. I just love to check in with her. I haven't bought a ton, but I did buy the label maker, and
Okay.
So I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Another one that I follow that I think our podcast follows them. It's called TNT Twin Talk.
I just started following them.
I love them. I just can sit and watch them. And I don't, they're over, it's for over 50 style. And you probably think, these women look 35.
They do.
I seriously thought they were about 38 years old. And they're identical twins. They're best friends. They're moms. They're grandmas. They're both breast cancer survivors. They're golfers. And they love fashion and home decor. And they're a little on the preppy side.
Yeah.
I would say kind of a J. Crew look. But they are always talking. And one is on a tighter budget than the other. So they kind of compare. Like, my sister wears these shoes while I found these dupes on Amazon, But yeah, I'm highly influenced by them.
Yeah.
Well, you just influenced me. I'm starting to follow them right now.
Yes.
They're so cute.
Yes. Well, how do we use social media to make decisions? Like, when you are thinking about buying something on Instagram, okay, here's the thing with the Twin Talk. I followed them. I can't remember why. I don't know if they were suggested for me or what. But now I'm thinking about muting them because they're a little overwhelming for me because they have so many things every single day that you could buy. So how do you decide what to buy? Because what happens to me is like, if it's so many things, well, that starts making me kind of feel like everything I own needs to be replaced. Like, I don't need 10 purses. Like, I just don't have a lifestyle. I don't need a spring purse, a Sunday purse, a summer purse, a casual purse, a dressy purse. But they'll do multiple purses. They probably own multiple purses, but I don't need that. But it kind of makes me feel like I do. But I know in my real life, I would never use that many purses or that many pairs of shoes or that many jeans. So like, to me, they're like almost overwhelming. So how do you decide like, okay, this is something I want to buy, or this is something I'll just scroll past?
Well, I actually haven't bought anything that they've advertised, but what I like is to look at trends. Like, if I'm out and I need some shoes, I'm like, oh yeah, they showed those loafers with the bit on them and the open back, or yeah, they're talking about wide leg jeans. You know what I mean? Like, it's more just, this is what people that are 50 are wearing and look good in. That's kind of how I see it.
Okay. So you're not actually clicking and ordering, because I have clicked on their like to know it, whatever, page. Yeah. And I have considered buying some of the things, but then I'm just overwhelmed because I know there'll be something else tomorrow that I might want to buy. Like, I can't buy that much stuff.
Yeah. It'd be more like if I was specifically looking for, I need shoes. I might go there and look at what they've talked about. That's kind of how I would use it.
I have to be in the market for it before I have eyes for it. And so, Marie, like you, like, I don't want to spend that much money on fashion, or, I can't keep updating a room if I've already updated the room. At some point, you kind of have to like, all right, I need to get outside and actually touch grass and see sky. But
no, but that's a good way to put it. I like to be in the market before I go looking at that.
Yeah, I think you still have to have wisdom in shopping. So, it's not bad to be influenced. It's really nice actually to have that much content available, because I know like a long time ago, we were still being influenced, just not as regularly and not as often. And so, I used to get magazines at my house all the time. I used to read 17 magazine when I was a teenager, and I was looking for makeup tips. Well, now all those are online. You can watch tutorials for those. I was looking at recipes. I even have a recipe I still use that I got from the 17 magazine.
Really?
All right. That's how crazy it is. And it's really good. I'll share it later.
Okay.
But I mean, I think we were always looking for ideas, or maybe looking for validation for the things that we were wanting. It's just, you have to filter it yourself, because literally every possible thing is at your fingertips now. So I know I'm watching workouts. I'm watching different exercises. I have different influencers that I follow that I love the movements that they use, and then I will incorporate those in my classes. So it really can be a very healthy thing to do.
Yeah, I like to follow recipe accounts, and that's a great way to change up your menus and You can even look for, just healthy ones or just, whatever category you want. It's out there.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to think of some other ways that social media might influence us other than just things to buy. And I was even thinking about the episode that we did last week with the teen texting. I think that his account influences how I interact with my children. It makes me more lighthearted about the things they say because I'm not taking them so personally.
Marie, I'm so thrilled that you just said that. You literally just touched on my heart because our son Jacob's graduating this year. I have recently been emotional about this, and also emotional about that he's very quiet and that he's very to himself. And so it helps keep it lighter. And I appreciate following him. And I'm like, hey, I'm not alone. Other parents are, kind of teasing about, my kid, I might have talked to him for like 3 minutes today. And but it's just helpful.
One thing I thought about was comparing and evaluating different opinions. Like on our neighborhood social media group, that's how I found my tile guy. That's how I found my landscaper. That's how I found the guy that came to restain my front door. Like people put out all kinds of questions. There is not a question too small or too silly that people ask about. And the neighbors chime in and give their opinion. And I think these are our neighborhood's pretty tight. And I think these are my neighbors. If I see a name, like this tile guy's name came up at least 15 times and said, this is your guy, that's who I called, And then he asked me to do the same since I was happy with the job. He said, can you please, say something about me in the neighborhood group?
Right.
So I like that. I'm looking for good comments and then just a lot of repeats. It's always a good thing.
I was thinking of there's a ton of things or reels on social media, and this is kind of what we talked about in the Boomer Mom thing, but sometimes it can help you like with conflicts in your family or like getting along. If you find out that, other people's mothers do this. Oh, this is just a generational thing, or, this isn't anything to get upset about or take too personally, or, we're all dealing with that. Like, let's laugh about it. I don't know, that's also a way of influencing. Just knowing, again, like it doesn't all have to be products or things. It can be just how you are. Like you learn new things and then you can apply them to your life.
Yeah, it can kind of ease tensions. Like this isn't just me being difficult. This is how moms are.
Exactly.
I send them to Molly all the time for that reason.
Yeah.
Keep a lighthearted outlook about your mother.
See, they're all like this. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, here's one that recently I purchased some curtains. An ad. This was just from an ad that came up, but I was trying to be cautious and not make mistakes. So I wasn't even going to look at them. And then I noticed the nester who I follow liked them. So I was influenced by who had liked the page. I thought that was interesting. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to look a little closer at them. These must be, maybe she's had some experience with them. So I ordered samples first, like swatches. And I had some questions and they were really quick to respond. The customer service was awesome. So then I looked at reviews. And then last week I eventually ordered the curtains. So I don't have them yet. So I think brand awareness is a way that I'm influenced. Like I'd never heard of this company. And now, of course, I see them all the time. But it was comforting that other people I quote trusted, maybe were using that company too.
Yeah, that kind of leads into the next thing we were going to talk about was things we look for on social media to influence our decisions. You're kind of looking to see, well, who else has used this? Who else likes it?
Yeah.
Who else recommends it?
Yeah.
Right. Look at who follow them. If I have, I look at their follow list before I'll, follow someone because I'm kind of judging, for myself. Like, are these like-minded, people that I appreciate their opinion, then I will follow them.
Yeah. There was this one girl I had found myself, I think it was a suggested person to follow. And I mean, it was a little bit overwhelming. It was like 2 or 3 times a day. She was showing us clothes from Amazon that were mostly fitness stuff. And, I just liked it all. And I thought, I need to get this. And when I went to Amazon to look at the reviews, it would be high, this item is always returned. And I don't know, it just seemed like that was happening a lot. And I thought, okay, this is I think this is probably cheap stuff. I would have no way of knowing from a real person. And so I just quit looking at it, because I just didn't feel like I could trust it.
Now, if she saw that Mindy followed her, then she would be more.
I know. If Mindy had bought those workout pants, I'd be getting them.
You have a high opinion. The anti-cellulite ad got me. Now I told you about those pants.
Right. Well, I know that we kind of tend to also look for people like us. Like you said, Julie, you're going to be buying makeup from someone that looks like you, not necessarily someone that looks 30 years younger than you, or maybe someone that you aspire to. Like, oh, I like the Chris loves Julia. I love their home. So let me see what they have in their home. And then I can put some of that in my home. I think that's why you see a lot of your friends, like lots of times, like when I found that twin thing, some names I recognized already followed them. I think it's because people that look alike or in the same demographic or are the same kind of person are following the same kind of people, maybe.
Probably so.
Yes.
Well, that's why I like Cindy from Lulu Loves.
I love her.
Because she just seems like a regular person.
She is. She's my friend.
Yeah. And her clothes are just like, okay, I could wear this. This isn't too crazy, because I think, we all say we want to be our own person and be individual, but we don't want to be too different, right? There's a balance there. So I always feel like, okay, I could wear these clothes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I do think, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I want to be a cog in a machine, but I've kind of over I need to be my own person. I don't necessarily need to pave my own road. Like if someone's already has some good recommendations, I'm happy to hear them and possibly follow them. Like I don't need to reinvent the wheel here every time I go to buy shoes. What do you like? Those are good. They're comfortable. Hey, I might like them too.
Right. And if they're cute, bonus. Well, because Marie, you and I both love research. I think all three of us love research. And so if somebody else that we have learned to trust and vetted them, or a friend that we trust has vetted them and found that they are, they have really good ideas or opinions, or this product is great, then I don't have to do the research. I can trust them.
It doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, this is interesting because we tend to think that social media primarily promotes conformity. But have you had a different experience? Like, what are some times when you've kind of gone against the grain, maybe, in what you've been following?
Well, I guess the obvious example for me was when I wanted to go gray. A friend of mine said, you should follow this woman. And I don't follow her anymore. She was she was probably in her 40s. I think she was Dutch and she lived in Aruba, Okay. So she always had these pictures of her long hair almost down to her waist, and always in her bikini and,
She was just like you,
awesome.
Julie.
Yeah, just like me. Yeah.
Right.
So, this is how I saw myself. No, I did not. But it was very inspiring to see this hair. Like, okay, this woman does not look anything like I thought a person with gray hair would look. So I followed her through that whole transition. And then I started following other. You would not believe how many accounts are out there of women just documenting their going gray. There's a lot.
Okay.
So that's kind of a niche group. And then the other one is fellow grievers. And I truly feel like I have friends all over the world that are grieving, because not that I necessarily contact them, but when you read somebody's heartfelt writing, like you feel like you know them. So those are two niche things that I have found that aren't necessarily what everybody's looking for, but you can find your small group if you need it.
Right. There are groups or social media accounts that you could follow for anything. Like if you're for something, you can find a social media account, or if you're against something, you could find a social media account. If you have a strong opinion, you can find like-minded people one way or the other. I was thinking about how probably nice and then maybe not so nice it is, but I know that Abigail, she's found a lot of groups for like mothering with the same philosophies that she has. But then I think sometimes she has to turn those off because it becomes a little overwhelming. It's like sometimes you can have too many opinions and then sometimes, not. And so I think just like with the people targeting different items for you to buy, there can be just too many different opinions on what you should be doing with your own child or how you should approach every aspect of your relationships with other people or whatever.
Oh, yeah. And then you just never feel settled. It's like, because you feel like you have to evaluate and make a decision on all of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good point for us to really clearly make here is that it's the click of a button to follow somebody, to mute somebody, or to unfollow somebody. And so I do think you have to take inventory every once in a while, almost like we take inventory of our homes, we take inventory of our pantry, our closet, you know, even our streaming services on TV when they get out of hand and you're spending too much. And I think you have to take inventory of the things that are coming through your phone to kind of say, like, is this still where I'm at? Is this what I'm looking for? I know I will mute people or unfollow people pretty quickly now. Like, it's okay. You're not going to hurt their feelings.
They're not even going to notice.
It's not based on you to make them succeed. You know, that it really is like mentally, you have to say, am I okay with this? Is this what I want? Is this annoying? Am I in a bad mood every time I see this person? Or there's so much, you know, content that I'm overwhelmed. So it's okay to unfollow.
Right, right. Well, if you have a strong opinion on something, fashion, decor, how much do you think was influenced by social media?
It's really hard to answer. I kind of felt like this is like which came first, the chicken or the egg. Like, I love blue and white chinoiserie, but is it because I've seen a lot of it, or do I like it and then I look for that? You know, it's just really hard to know which came first.
I have compared Mindy to Mindy. And what I mean by that is I love 90s fashion, some of it. And this is how I used to dress in high school. Like the loafers, collared shirts, tailored pants, or a wide leg pant, or you know, chunky shoes or something like that. And so hoop earrings. I mean, there are certain things that I have loved my entire life. And so then when I see them, you know, in ads, I get super excited because I'm like, that's me. Like, that's my style. And then there's other things that I'll take chances on. And, you know, if I get a lot of compliments or, you know, I feel great in it, then maybe I'll add that. So I do know I'm being influenced. I also know I'm looking for things that I have loved for a long time. So then I know those are actually things that are me.
Like maybe your core style stays pretty much the same with,
I kind of think so. Like, I'll take chances, you know, on color or, you know, something like that maybe I wouldn't have before.
I think we like to think that our opinions are all our own. But, you know, I mean, even different things like when I've thought about different medical procedures. Well, you can join a group for just about anything medical. And then you can read all their opinions. And some of their opinions, you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Or sometimes you're like, no, that doesn't make sense to me. But when I say that I've come to an opinion was way more influenced by those other opinions I read than any like knowledge that I put in my own brain. Maybe it spurred me to research something else deeper, but we're all influenced by those things. It's really, like you said, Julie, it's really hard to separate. Like, did I know that before and thought that way? Or is it because I've seen it so much that now I think that way? I don't know. And we have so many more opinions. We have access to so many more opinions now. Like, I think about clothing. I mean, yeah, you could have bought a 17 magazine, but really you were probably most influenced by the fact that you went down to the mall and this is what they were selling.
Right.
There wasn't anything online. These were the 5 pairs of jeans they had in your size. You picked one.
It's true.
Now everything is so much at your fingertips. Even decorating, it was like, well, I've been to 10 houses this year and I liked her style, so maybe I'll incorporate more of that. We didn't used to have so many opinions. Or access to so many thoughts on any one thing.
Yeah, to see things, like I said, I look at New England homes. Like, I don't get that here. So I have to go elsewhere, you know, and
Well, this is for midlife women. We can remember a time before social media. Our daughters will not have that. No. And this will be an interesting conversation, you know, as they age and as they learn how to take in information in what ways they limit that information or funnel it or side about it. I would be very interested to talking to the younger generation about social media and their phones and how they handle it, especially now that they're starting to have families. I mean, both of your daughters have families, they have children. And so that would be fascinating to talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. My one daughter in college, it was raining a lot last week, and she texted me and said, "Do you have any rain boots I can have?" And like we talked about last week, that means, will you buy me some rain boots? Because it's not like I have rain boots laying around that she's going to like and want to wear. So she means, can you buy me some rain boots? So I said, well, I don't have any that you can have, but I understand that you need rain boots. So maybe you can show me what you would like. And I immediately went to like, okay, well, we're going to get dependable, solid rain boots. We're going to shop at like REI or someplace, they'll probably cost me $100, but she'll have these rain boots for the next 10 years. In my mind, rain boots, they're not really, how many rain boots can there be out there? And it wasn't a half hour before she sent me these rain boots that had like super chunky soles, and they sold them in like purple, yellow, pink, polka dots, all these things. They were like not at all what I would have expected her to pick. They were not at all like what I pictured dependable 10-year-old rain boots to be. And they were only $25. So I was like, oh, where'd you find these? I couldn't tell you what the company was without going back and looking. It wasn't like an REI or like a somewhere that I would expect to buy a rain boot. It was some, pop-up company. Probably you can't ship it back, but she wanted them. They're $25. She ordered pink, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that was good. But she was totally influenced by social media for that, because we don't have that store. We've never been in that store. I don't know anyone with those rain boots.
And
you don't get those ads.
No, and I don't get those ads. No.
Yeah. I mean, you will now, but
yeah. So anyways, that was just an interesting way. It was totally how that generation would buy, and not at all how I would have thought about tackling rain boots.
Right. Right.
Let's talk a little bit about social media influencing, promoting overconsumption, because I also follow this account. I think it's called like Minimalist Moms, or there's one called like Simplicity. I don't know which one does it, but she's always telling you in her Instagram posts, like, evaluate, even if it's free, do you really need it? Like all this stuff. And that's like the direct opposite of what the influencing is trying to get you to do. And so are we over consuming as a result of these things that we're seeing?
Yes.
I would say you have to be, because if you were actually spending as much time in a store shopping at the mall as you are on your phone, you would never be home.
True.
You think about that. So, and they say the more you shop, the more you spend. So I think it has to. I don't know. I like to think, oh no, not me, but
yeah. I was looking for those. I was looking for that 18th pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I needed that label maker.
Right. Right.
Right.
No, I don't know that we can make a case that it's not. I guess maybe what we need to know is just how can we maybe balance it out? I mean, we're going to overconsume. I mean, you'd have to get rid of social media to not buy anything off it. How do you check yourself?
You have a budget. Don't go over it.
Okay. This is your influencing budget.
Check yourself. So I was thinking back, I remember hearing a story, and it was about some country that used to make a product for Sears, but like inevitably the country never actually bought through Sears what they were making. So Sears, when they came out with their catalog, started sending their catalog to this country or to this people village or whatever. And then all of a sudden, all the people started buying the stuff in the catalog. So
interesting.
Okay, I have just probably totally mutilated that story, but I do remember hearing about that. And that's at the beginning. Think about the catalogs. That's how I shopped as a child for what I was getting for Christmas, is you would circle what you wanted, dog ear the page. And so here we are, and like the floodgates are open.
True. We get a catalog a minute.
Oh my goodness. Like, it's in conversations, which is even how this conversation started, was me having a conversation with a friend. But we are all being influenced. And if you talk to anyone or you see anything, like, you're going to have an opportunity to make a decision to purchase something, make something, build something, incorporate something.
Well, that's actually one of the ways I keep it in check is if I see it online, especially if it's Amazon, I've just started putting it on my wish list. If I think, okay, I saw these curtains, I saw these shoes, saw these jeans. And if I never think about it again, I'm not buying it. I really wanted it at the time, but no, I'm not even thinking about it again. Or if I say, oh yeah, I really need jeans, I can go and say, what were those?
Okay.
Or somehow save it. If it's not on Amazon, I somehow save it. And usually I don't buy it because time has passed and it's just not that pressing. So that's kind of how I do it.
That's a good way. Yeah.
That is a good point.
Yeah. And I learned the hard way.
Me too. I would say that delayed clicking the button is really, really healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if I'm up late at night and I'm, adding a bunch of things, I think, okay, well, I'll sleep on it and see how I feel tomorrow. The other way to pour ice cold water on my great ideas of things I want to purchase is I talk to Bryce about it.
Yeah.
And he's quickly like, we don't need that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Julie, you have down here, do you have any examples of when you've fallen prey to overconsumption? So does that mean that you have an example?
Well, I've already shared that. I've already
you have? Which
divulged that in our Instagram episode. My fake cork shoes that took 3 months to get here from China, and the cork heel, it was like a clog, was a sticker that looked like cork on the heel. Okay.
Oh my.
So learned that lesson. And then even the shirt I have on, y'all, I loved this shirt. I was highly, highly influenced by the girl that wore it. And I still love the look of it, but there's no natural fiber in the shirt.
Oh.
So it's very hot because it's polyester or something, nylon.
Nice.
Or something. It looks cotton, doesn't it?
It does look cotton. I would have thought it was cotton.
Yeah. So it's like, it's disappointing when I got it, but it wasn't expensive. I mean,
right.
But like I love my label maker. But my stud finder wall magnet, I'm not so happy with that.
Ooh, okay.
That was one of those gadgets that girl had on there, because I'm really bad about using the stud finder and it's never right. And so then I put a nail in the wall and then I've got a hole there,
Right.
So they had this little magnet that supposedly you could slide across the wall and it would stick to wherever the nail heads were in your studs. That does not work. That is false advertising.
Right. Yeah, I can't think of an example, but I'm sure I have overconsumed. Luckily, I try to buy things only from places that I can return. And if I haven't opened or used something, I have no shame in returning it. I mean, I return all the time. So I'm probably wasting shipping money with these companies and stuff, but at least I'm not stuck with the thing. Like I might impulsively have ordered it, but by the time it came, I'm like, no, I don't really need that.
That's my example, Marie, is it's hit or miss with me with Amazon clothes. I don't know about you guys, but I do follow an influencer that does talk about Amazon objects, products, clothing, and she's pretty legit. So I will continue to follow her. Like I just went on a cruise and all 3 nights I had an Amazon dress.
Oh,
that was like a major 10. Like I got a lot of compliments. They're great. But I've also returned just as many because it showed up and it was like the material was like a parachute. I mean, You just don't know. But thankfully, Amazon is easy to return to.
Yeah.
And so I just return it.
Mindy, I feel like these need to be an I'm a fan. You're holding out on 3 10 out of 10 Amazon dresses. Share.
Last year, I was very specific about upping my dress game for summer dresses. And I literally did. I have found some really great dresses, and I will have to link some of those.
Yes, we definitely want to see those because it's coming up on that season.
It is. It really is.
Yes. All right. Well, this topic was great. It really got me thinking about how I'm influenced. One thing is just to bring awareness of it. Like, I already know I'm gonna be, but maybe just be more aware and put more checks and balances in place. And even just asking someone, hey, is this as great as I think it is? And then they'll be like, no. Wait on that. So thank you for sharing your experiences, Julie and Mindy. Listeners, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear any examples you have, like Julie's cork shoes, or any great examples, because we're always looking for great things too. You can find us on Midlife Matters Podcast on Instagram, or you can email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But before we go, we want to do I'm a Fan. All right, Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
I'm a fan of a book I'm reading, and it's very old, but I'm going to mention it here because I was having lunch with someone last week, and I mentioned this book, and she had never read it or heard of it. So it's The Hiding Place.
Oh, it's a good book. Yes.
So, and in Bible study, I don't know if you got this, Marie, but they passed out a 2-page sheet of quotes.
I think I probably
The
did
Hiding
get that.
Place. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of what got me. Our book club was going to read it. We discussed putting this on the list. And then when I got that list of quotes, I mean, there were probably 40 quotes from the book that were all that I had heard and didn't realize they came from the book. So I think I read this probably in high school. So it's been a long time. And I think I've seen the movie, but I'm about a third of the way in, and it's so good. It's just, she's an amazing spiritual giant. And
so that's Corrie ten Boom.
Yeah, Corrie ten Boom. She and her family were in Holland, and they hid Jews in their house during the Nazi occupation. You know, she obviously survives everything that happened, but just amazing, her story of how she, forgiveness and trust in God, and how her faith grew. And, and to think none of us will ever most likely experience the horrors that she experienced. So it's very inspiring.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
All right. Well, you made me change my I'm a fan.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I'm going to share one of my Amazon dresses. This dress, I have called it a magic dress, and I found it actually from a friend that let me borrow hers for a special event that Bryce and I were going to.
Okay.
And then I loved the dress, and it is so easy to wear. I'm sure it is like the most cheap material in the world, but somehow this thing looks fabulous on.
Oh.
And it looks good on a lot of different body types. I'm going to try to read the name. As you know, it's an Amazon name. So let's see. Let me start. And Rabis, women's sleeveless cutout halter neck satin formal dress, smocked pleated asymmetric party cocktail maxi dress. I mean, literally, how many names do you need?
What color did you get?
I got the magenta. It's this, well, actually magenta. It's like the hot pink color.
Okay.
I will send you a picture of it on.
Yeah.
I took it on my cruise. You can wad it up in a ball, throw it in your suitcase. It comes out looking great. I have washed it in the washer on cold. The pleats, it looks exactly the same when I pulled it out of the washer.
Wow.
It was like $30 something. It comes in like every single color under the sun. I'm going to get one in black because it is just so easy to wear.
Perfect.
So there are 2 buttons on the back of the neck, but otherwise it's just like the material is so forgiving. I just can't talk this dress up enough. So I'll send you a picture of me wearing it and also the link. I love it. It's my new favorite magic dress.
Great. Everyone needs a magic dress. Sold me at that. Okay, this week I am a fan of something small, but I never knew they had these. So at Costco, have you ever bought the rainbow carrots? They are purple, orange, and yellow, and they're in the cut up fruits and vegetable section, like that refrigerated area, and they're called Sweet Baby Rainbow Carrots. And it says you can eat them raw, roast, steam, or saute. You don't need to peel them, and they do still have like the little stalk attached to them. And they're purple, yellow, and orange, and they are delicious. Like, they're just good to eat, and like you can dip them in hummus or eat them regular. But I saw them at someone's house. They kind of had them out as an appetizer. And I thought, oh, I'm always looking for easy appetizer ideas. And these, I think are $4.99 for a big package. And they're great. So if you have a Costco membership, you definitely want to check out, I don't know how I missed them before, the Sweet Baby Rainbow Carrots.
Do you eat yours raw?
I do.
How do you fix yours? Oh,
I just eat mine raw because I don't know, for some reason, I can't tell if it's that placebo effect or not, but the purple to me tastes different than the orange, tastes different from the yellow. Now they're all carrots. Maybe they technically all taste the same, but I feel like the coloring, I feel like they do taste different.
Sweeter?
I don't know. Yeah, I would say they're just better tasting. I don't know if it's the presentation of them. They just look cuter. I don't know.
Interesting.
I need a dietitian to break down the exact reasoning, but I like them.
Nice. Eat them blindfolded.
Yes, that I should do that, Mindy.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe listeners, you've been influenced by our I'm a fans. I wanted to say that we're all influencers too, in a very micro way.
Influencers.
Hopefully you still trust us after the products that you've bought on our recommendation.
I hope so. We're trying to be sincere here.
Yeah.
We're not paid.
No, we are not. All right, Julie, Mindy, I enjoyed talking with you, and I look forward to talking with you next week.
Sounds great.
All right, bye. We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.